oil. So I'm going to ask all of our experts assembled around this table if Janet Yellen still raises rates, having seen what we've seen so far this morning. Scott Shellady, head up, please. Address the viewers. Will Janet Yellen still raise rates after the plunge in oil and a mediocre jobs report?
Yes, she's going to take this opportunity to be relevant, but she's not raising them on the back of a strong economy. You're exactly right. When did we suddenly think 200,000 was a strong number? I don't know, but it's like if we talk about it just long enough, it starts to become fact, but it's not fact. But yes, she's going to take the opportunity to raise rates.
You're right. There's no end to the number of people who think that 200,000 jobs per month is just high and dandy and wonderful. Todd, does she still raise rates?
I think she does not raise rates, but first I want to bring you and welcome you as an American citizen.
No, thank you very much indeed. Now, you be careful how you handle that flag. There is flag etiquette observed here.
Yes, but we're going to bring this right to you right now, but she is not going to raise rates because she's not taking care of America the way it's supposed to be done.
What's your flag etiquette?
Flag etiquette. Yeah. But your bottom line is
my bottom line is they're still lost. They've got no backbone. Could she make a raise only to drop later next year? That's possible, but I think they've got no course, and I don't think they really want to, and I think they're going to find a way not to raise.
Okay, you say she does not raise rates. Scott Shelley says she does, and Ashley says...
Absolutely she does. I think the new standard today is, well, it's not awful, which is what we're saying about the jobs report. I don't think there's any way she's not going to now.
Liz.
Yeah, it's hard to figure out what the Fed officials... Yes, I do think she raises rates. The Fed raises rates. It's hard to figure out what they are going to do. It's like the train of thought is making all local stops whenever you hear a Fed official talk. But she'll do it once and maybe once again next year. The Fed can always, sneeze more money into the system with more bond buying.
All right, look, we're 2.5 minutes into the trading session. We've got this speculation about Janet Yellen and rates. We've got a plunge in the price of oil and a mediocre jobs report, and we are up 71 points, 70 points on the Dow Industrials at 17.5. Now, yesterday we headed much lower, kind of a stumble on the way to Dow 18,000. Todd Horwitz came all the way to New York to tell us whether we get to 18K by the end of this month.
There's a possibility, but I still think we see 16K next year. That's what I said the other day. That's what I'm saying now. We might see new highs this year, possible, but we see 16K next year.
All right, Scott Shellady, come back in, please. We're up 60-odd points for the Dow, closing fairly close to 18K despite Janet Yellen and oil and all the rest of it. Do we hit 18K this month?
I think there's a 25% chance we do, so I'm going to answer it in percentage terms. Yeah, we're close enough that we could get there because of all the Santa Claus rally etiquette, but at the end of the day, the stock market's too high for what real assets are trading at. Somebody's got to come to the middle. And I'd also like to mention that I think that we'd like to welcome you to America because now mediocre is the new excellent. Welcome to America.
Ooh, I'm not sure how to take that one, Scott, but thank you.
I think.
I've got to get to the price of oil because I think this is going to be a market mover today. OPEC's boosting production. They're going to turn out 31.5 million barrels per day. Scott, I was shocked at this because we're swimming in this stuff, and this only adds to the glut of supply. What do you make of this?
Well, I think next year or from today forward, watch the oil market. Oil is going to be the main driver for everything because they were such a big help to us when we had our problems in 2008. So if we start to see that oil really go lower, like when I'm saying low 30s, that trade starts to get crowded. It's hard to get real short on there, so the longs have a little bit more power when you get below 35. But we're going to see that, I think, because of what the supply is versus the demand. And I think that the economy, we don't just use it for gas, we use it for a lot of other things, we're just not demanding as much as we should be. So watch oil. That's going to be the driver. If oil starts to plunge, everything else goes with it.
Liz.
An interesting backstory among oil traders, whether or not Saudi Arabia will be sticking it to its enemy, Iran, as Iran's sanctions are lifted and its oil comes onto the market. Saudi Arabia could easily undercut Iran by dumping more oil onto the market. Saudi Arabia is sitting pretty, has a lot of cash reserves.
Yeah, but they're spending them fast, too.
That's true. They're borrowing in the bond market, too.
This is going to be a battle. You've got a lot lot of guys trying to screw with our economy and trying to put a lot of our shale drillers out, trying to put everybody out of business. You're going to see more supply come onto the market.
Really?
Well, I think that this
then the price has to go.
The price should go. But again, don't forget, we do have, as Scott said, we have other uses for it, and we're going to find more reasons. But you remember Thanksgiving Day, what did Saudi Arabia do? They said, we're going to put more oil in the system. And you can believe that they want to screw with our economy, and they want to make it even more challenging to all of us to be successful.
Then I have to believe that the price of oil drops firmly below $40 per barrel.
To the 1990s era levels of 30 or lower.
You know, well, let's leave the markets and oil alone for a second. I want to talk to you about gun stocks. As we always say, it is a little crass when you start talking about gun stocks right after a dreadful and outrageous shooting. Nonetheless, gun stocks are moving. There is some fear that they're going to take the guns away from us. We can't buy them the way we want to buy them. Smith & Wesson, Sturm Ruger, today, again, higher. Todd, do you like gun stocks?
I'm not a big gun stock fan.
Okay.
I think that I think you've seen the fear drive them up now. I think that's probably the end of the rally here, but I think it's more of a debate on gun control and what's going to happen. But we know after a fearful event, people run out and do defense stocks, the guns, whatever it happens to be.
They actually finished lower yesterday. It got caught up in that sell-off towards the end of the day, down 250 points. But it's interesting with each event, whether it's, Hillary Clinton continues, all the politicians go after gun control, it does have an impact on these stocks.
Look at that. Now, that's a chart. We don't like charts very much on this program unless they show a clear direction. There is a clear direction right there, up for gun stocks. That's just for Smith & Wesson. I'm going to predict again that there is a surge in permit applications to own a gun following what happened in California.
Yes, and that has been happening already. There's been a surge in permit applications. It can't be understated the Defense Authorization Act, that new bill, allows service members to carry guns at recruiting centers and military bases. Also told the EPA to back off. You cannot regulate guns, ammo as lead, under the Toxic Controlled Substance Act. So positive moves for the gun lobby and the gun sector coming out of D.C.
Not such a great chart there for Sturm and Ruger.
No.
Scott Shellady, did I hear you trying to get in this? Did I hear you?
No, I've said, I can say, emotionally they're a buy, fundamentally they're not. That's as simple as it gets from me.
That's pretty straight and to the point. I got it. Higher profits at Dollar General. Shop there myself, actually. It cuts its sales growth forecast and it's down a fraction, 50 cents, not much. Rating cut for GoPro, hitting a new low. Shares are down 70% this year, 17 on GoPro right now. Dare we put Barnes & Noble, the bookstore, on death watch? Dare we? Well, we just did it.
There you go.
Nicole, give me the story, because they're down 20%.
Wow, look at that. Music, it's at 952, a new low. The stock is down 20% right now. Sales have been, by the way, they spun off the college business, the college books biz, right? So they left basically the bookstore, the Nook. Sales dropped. Store closures have been occurring. Online sales continue to drop. The Nook tablet, guess what? Weak demand. And all of this has huge competition. Hello, Amazon, right? So with that, remember Borders? Oh, wait, what happened to Borders? Okay. So that's my point, is that they are under extreme pressure here. You do have one analyst, just to give you the other side of the story here, one analyst over at Gabelli Company saying it's a little lighter than I expected. Retailers are having some issues. Barnes & Noble is suffering like a lot of the other guys. Well, that's a 20% move. That's a big story right there.
I don't know whether Death Watch music was justified or not, but I'll tell you this, everybody. I like bookstores.
I do too.
I love them.
I like to, you too, Nicole. I mean, I like to walk in and see what's new.
I like to go with my children.
Yeah.
I like to look around. It is a wonderful experience on Saturday.
Our producers have no heart.
Are we old school, though?
You know what they're saying? This is boring. Move on.
It's a family event, going to books. You have children, you take them to the bookstore.
Thank
you have coffee.
Yes,
but you've got Amazon putting everybody out of business, but there are opening bookstores, if I remember from the last
It's off 17. It's trading toward the breakup value of its real
By the way,
estate.
this is about...
Are you hearing this? Gotta move.
I didn't hear. This isn't about the 9th time that they've been on death watch.
Yeah, that's true too. How about Under Armour? That's a company.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Very good.
They want to build a $1 billion brand on the success of NBA star Steph Curry. What do you know about this?
Unbelievable. They did this before they knew that the Golden State Warriors were going to be so dominant, winning the NBA title. Right now, they're 20-0 this season, and Steph Curry is just a one-man highlight reel. And Under Armour is just reaping the benefits. Let's not forget that, Jordan Spieth in the PGA, they backed him, came off on top. And then they have this Misty Copeland, a ballerina who's generating massive amount of sales in the women's sportswear.
So interesting.
A ballerina?
Yes.
Okay, you got me with that one.
There you go.
There you go. Okay. All right, I got a serious question for everybody around this table. We have had terror. Islamic terror has arrived in America. Has it had an impact, or will it have an impact on the Dow Jones Industrial Average? Start with you, Scott.
Yes, it will, because I believe wholeheartedly it's going to have an effect on the presidential election, and that in turn will affect the stock market.
Todd.
Direct impact, no, not today. Overall, Scott's way, yes, but if it gets bigger and mushrooms farther out, it will have a direct effect as it did in 2000.
Exactly right. Not so far, but there is very much a potential.
Last word, Liz.
I agree. Listen, with terrorism, the terrorists can't rip apart the capital markets. Let's face it. I think the ECB lackluster money printing effort yesterday really dinged the market. Right. But, short-term volatility, yes. Long-term, no.
Okay, let me wrap things up, because the Dow Jones Industrial Average is right now up over 100 points. In the background, I'm calling it a mediocre jobs report. In the foreground, a plunge in the price of oil, and the Dow's up 105. Go.
I think this is the market saying, finally, we got some clarity, because they believe that the Fed is going to raise rates.
Right.
So it's like, let's just get on with it.
Or we're not going to raise rates, so we can still have the cheap money we can buy out. Well, let's look at the bond market.
I don't think the jobs report was bad enough for that to happen.
We like to offer our viewers clarity.
That's right.
I'm sorry.
You screwed it up. Look, we're up 109, 110 points.
Right. We have
Can we be happy?
Free money for everybody. $4 trillion. This is what we got, baby. I can't believe it.
Now listen to this. Fox News, Peter Doocy. He pressed the